Hello everyone. I'm not going to lie, I'm struggling a bit at the moment. I'm going to try not to get emotional. If there's lots of cuts, jumping about, it's because I've cut out the points where I've got a bit emotional. I don't like people to see me like that. I'm only putting this out there because my whole purpose at the beginning of the year, as I said, was to keep myself accountable to myself. If people choose to listen to my videos, if people enjoy my videos, that's great. And I hope they get something out of it. But especially with being accountable and vulnerable and honest, it might help someone else. Which is why I am always in my real life, not my on camera life, in my real life, I'm very open and honest with people I meet and I talk to, and quite often I'll be chatting to people and they'll go, "Whew, that was a deep conversation for standing in a queue." And I'm like, yeah, it was, wasn't it? But I just feel sometimes I'm very much led by, if something comes up and I have the urge to share, I don't question it, because I think somebody needs to hear that, whether they realise it or not. Sometimes I need to share because somebody needs to hear. So I do try to be open and honest, but that also makes me a bit vulnerable, and that's not something I'm comfortable with at all. But for the last couple of months, I have noticed the black clouds circling. As is usual, I tried to ignore them. Hoped that some wind would come along and blow them away. It hasn't. They're getting heavier. And so I know when I get like this, I start to retreat. So if people notice I'm quiet, or I'm not around as much, or they think I'm ignoring messages, I'm not. I'm just in hiding. I think I'm protecting myself, but it's not. I'm not protecting myself at all. I am literally hiding from my reality. And so putting it out here, although it makes me feel very, very vulnerable, and I'm feeling really rather sick at doing this, my aim in doing these videos was to not only talk about what I love and sewing and all aspects of sewing, and sharing hints and tips and ideas and learning from other people, but it was also to keep myself accountable, because I know if I don't stay accountable, then it becomes a very slippery slope, and once you start sliding down, there is a period of time where you're still in grasping distance of the top, which I am at the moment, which is why I'm trying to grab the top. But I also know with me there is a point where if I slide too far, there is no stopping until I hit the bottom. And I don't want to hit the bottom again. It's not a nice place to be. I don't like being there. And I've been there too many times. And it's bloody hard clawing your way back up again. So I'm trying to grab on and stop myself sliding anymore, which is why I'm putting this out there. I also need to ring and try and make an appointment with my GP, who I have a new GP, my wonderful, wonderful GP, who was the nicest man retired back in March, and I have been avoiding going to the doctors ever since. I had to go the other month because I got dengue and I had to go for blood tests. But aside from that, that was only because I was so ill and I was so desperate that I went. But aside from that, I have had my head hidden somewhere, and I've just tried to ignore the fact that I don't know who my GP is. I haven't met them. I don't know what they're like. I don't know how they're going to respond to me. My previous GP, Matt, was wonderful. He always treated me like a human being, which is something I've not had a lot from GPs in my life. He always treated me like a human being. He always listened, and he always knew. We had a very good relationship, and he always knew when to just tell me to just, you know, buck up and pull yourself together. You're wallowing now. We're not doing that. And he just got me. He really understood me, and I worked so well with him. You know, he also knew I would only call to see him if I was desperate. So, it's been a bit... The old fears about seeing a GP and wondering what treatment I will get from them, they're starting to bubble. So I am very, very, very anxious about calling the doctors to try and make an appointment. But I know I've got to, because the longer I leave it, the bigger it's going to become in my mind, and it's going to become such a huge ogre that I just don't go back to the doctors at all. And I have too many health issues that I can't afford to ignore the doctor. So, big girl pants time. I've got to be brave. I've got to call the GP surgery, and I know what will happen. I know as soon as I start talking, I will end up crying. Like I'm trying not to now. I will make a fool of myself, and I would just hate myself afterwards for having done that. But needs must. I have to do it. So I'm going to do it. I have one saving grace in that I am going on a sewing retreat. And I am so looking forward to that. I know I was on one last month, but I was teaching at that one. So although I love it, I love sharing knowledge, I love showing people new things, I love seeing people get excited when they've learned something new. It's for other people. I get a certain pleasure out of it, but it doesn't feed me in the way that if I go on a sewing weekend for me, then that just really feeds into me. And at the moment, I need to feed into me. I know what I have to do to try and keep myself from sliding any further, and that is one of the things. So I'm really looking forward to that. I'm going away with good friends. I'm going to have a great time. I am going to... I'm just going to get some medicine from my friends and get some medicine from my sewing. And hopefully I'll come back from that weekend and I will feel so much brighter. And then by the time I go to see the doctor, I will be feeling a bit stronger and better about speaking to someone new and feeling vulnerable with them. Because although things are written down in my medical history, unless she chooses to read back through it, she's not really going to know where I'm coming from. And so I am going to have to say things and tell her things which makes me feel icky. But as long as I can get an appointment for after my sewing weekend, I think I will have fed myself enough over the weekend that I will have the courage to go in there and say what needs to be said. I will write it all down as well, because that's one brilliant tip Matt gave me on times when I'm really struggling, even with him, even though I was comfortable with him, but times when I'm really struggling, write down everything before I go into the GPs. Because if I get in there and find I just cannot talk, which happens sometimes, I could just hand in the paper and he would know where I was. And once he knew and he could talk about it, then I could start talking about it. But sometimes for me, it's just being able to get that initial thing out. So yes, sorry if this is a bit of a Debbie Downer video. You don't have to listen. But I had to do it, because now I've said it, I can't avoid those black clouds, and I can't avoid seeking the help I need. So this is a video more for me than anyone else out there. But if anyone else is feeling like me and it helps, even if it just makes you think, oh, it's not just me, I'm not the only one who feels like that. I know before in the past, I don't know, there's a bit of camaraderie, isn't there, in knowing you're just not on your own, because it's very easy to think, oh, it's just me, and you get all in on yourself and you start shutting off people from the outside. But the minute someone else yeah, I know that feeling, I feel that too, it's just, oh, it isn't just me then. That's good. You know, there's a companionship about it that helps. And I don't know why. I can't get the words. I can't use the right words to describe how it makes me feel, but there's just something about I'm not on my own in this. So if anyone has listened to this and it helps them, well, I'm glad I could be of help. Other people have helped me in the past. So, you know, we just keep sharing the love and showing a bit of compassion, showing a bit of kindness, and we will all get there in the end, usually. But yeah, that is where I'm at. If I'm a bit quieter, you know why. I will try to push through. I will try to maintain a presence, because I think it may help. But if I feel I'm pressurising myself too much, I might step back a bit. So I might be a bit quieter. There's nothing seriously wrong. I'm not losing myself, I'm not disappearing, and I'm not ignoring anybody on purpose. It's just some days I find it hard to cope. So that's just me. That's just where I am at the moment. But one thing that has brought me a lot of joy over the past few days is Mabel. Or shall I say Mabel's garden. How gorgeous does this look? I've now finished the embroidery. I am thrilled with it. This is the official kit that I got from Emma Jones. The colours are delightful. Look, even the threads. Look at the green. It's just the perfect green that goes in with all those greens. I love it. I finished it. I'm so pleased I got the official one. I've put some felt on the back this morning. I am going to hand stitch this all around to secure it. And then I'm going to audition this in the house. Where can I put it? Where will it look best? Should I have it up that way or that way? Because there's two different ways. And it will look different. On each different wall, it will look different, whether it's that way or that way. So, yeah. It's brought me a lot of pleasure. It makes me smile when I see it. I just honestly, the colours are better in real life than on this screen. I suppose I must do something about lighting at some point. But I love it. I'm thrilled with it. I'm so pleased I've done it. And because I've done this one, I always knew, I said, didn't I? I said I'd do the embroidery on this one first because I prefer it. And I have. But I also want to do the embroidery on my one now, just because I know how much life that embroidery has given this little piece. So I know any embroidery I do on mine is going to make mine look tons better. I've just got to match the colours very well as Emma does. So I am going to finish mine as well. Mine will probably go on the wall there, I'm guessing. It'll go out here and this one will go up in the house somewhere, but I need to audition where this is going to go and what orientation I put it at. But I love these. I might try to do, this is a bit greeny, I think greeny and pinky. I might try to do a more bluish one. I might try to do a sort of lemony yellowy one, and I might put a few of them up. So I might not even put this up until I've got some others done, and see if I put them in a group. But anyway, it's brought me a lot of joy. While I've felt myself mentally and emotionally retreating from everyone else, I was able to spend some time with Mabel and enjoy the process, and have lots of fun. And I've got a lovely product at the end of it. So that's a good thing. We have to hang on to the good things. So here we go. How gorgeous does she look? I love it. I love it. She's kept me sane. So we love Mabel for that. And I love Emma for getting these kits back in stock, because your fabrics were so much better than the ones I picked out from my leftovers. So thank you, thank you, thank you. That's all I've got to say at the moment. I need to do a bit of admin. I've got to call the doctors. I have to call some other people who are frustrating me at the moment, because they're not doing their job properly and they're giving me a bit of a runaround. So I need to call them and try and get things sorted. I've got to try not to get emotional, try not to lose my temper with them as well, which is where I'm at the moment. So I need to calm myself. So I think I'll keep this in front of me while I'm talking to them on the phone and just keep looking at it and remind myself to feel good, not angry. But anyway, that's me for now. I hope you're all doing well. I hope everyone is feeling tickety-boo, is enjoying their sewing, and if I've been a little bit of help to someone, well, I'm glad to have done it. I appreciate anyone who's watched, anyone who's stuck with me through to the end of this video. You're all great. I think you're all wonderful. Thank you for being there. Even if I don't know who you are, it's nice to know when I get a little message or a little like or a little comment. It's just really nice to know that people have taken time on my behalf, and that really helps. So thank you very much. I hope you're well, happy sewing, and I will be back as soon as I can be. Bye.